My wife always complained we were broke. One day, I found a hidden safe in our closet. Inside were stacks of cash and a deed to a house I never knew existed. Shaking, I drove to the address. A man opened the door, smiled, and said, "You must be Sarah's brother." My stomach dropped as I heard my wife's voice inside. All right, here goes. I never thought I'd be writing one of these, but what happened to me still feels like a nightmare, and I need to get it off my chest. Maybe it'll help me make sense of it. Maybe someone out there's been through something similar. I don't know. All I know is my life changed completely in one afternoon. So, I've been married to Sarah for 10 years. We live in Pittsburgh. I'm a mechanic, been working at the same shop since I was 22. Nothing fancy, but it pays the bills. Sarah works in marketing, and she's always been the one with the more professional job between us. We live in a small but decent house in Baldwin Borough, just outside the city. Now, here's the thing. For the past 2 years, Sarah has constantly complained about money. I mean daily. We're broke. We can't keep spending like this. We need to cut back. It got to the point where I stopped buying takeout altogether, even packed my own lunches every day. I even sold my motorcycle, my only hobby, my one thing for myself, just to have a bit more cushion. Anytime I brought up the idea of going on a vacation or even just a weekend getaway, she shut it down. Said we couldn't afford it. She was stressed, always snapping. The energy in the house changed. We barely talked unless it was about bills or errands. But I didn't think she was cheating. Not even once. I honestly thought she was just overwhelmed, maybe depressed. Then, one Saturday when she was out visiting her mom, I decided to reorganize our bedroom closet. We'd been saying for months that it needed cleaning, and I figured maybe it'd make her happy if I took care of it. That's when I found it. There was this odd part of the wall in the back of the closet that looked different, almost like a false panel. It was barely noticeable, but when I tapped on it, it sounded hollow. I pressed a bit, and the panel popped off, revealing a small digital safe. I just stared at it for a few minutes. My first thought was maybe it belonged to a previous homeowner, but that didn't make sense. We'd lived there for almost 7 years. I called Sarah, asked her if she knew anything about a safe in the closet. She acted weird. Her voice changed instantly, like she got caught off guard. "Safe? What safe?" she said. I told her where I found it. "Oh, that must have been from the last people who lived there. It's probably empty. Just leave it," she said, real quick, trying to move the conversation along. But something about her tone, it stuck with me. She never talked like that. Not unless she was hiding something. So, when she got home, I didn't mention it again. I waited a couple days. Then, when she left again for another one of her visits, I looked up how to open a safe without a code. I watched videos, read a few forums, and after about an hour with some tools and a bit of luck, it clicked open. Inside were stacks of $100 bills. Neat bundles, wrapped tight. I didn't even count it right away. I just stared. My hands were shaking. There had to be tens of thousands of dollars in there. Under the money was a folder. Inside was a property deed. A house. In Philadelphia. I froze. We had never talked about owning any property outside of Pittsburgh. Hell, we could barely afford groceries, according to her. And now I'm staring at legal documents for a house in another city? I didn't call her. I didn't say a word. Instead, I put everything back exactly the way I found it, locked the safe, and waited until the next weekend. Told her I was helping a friend with car trouble. Instead, I packed a bag and drove 5 hours to Philly. The address was in a quiet neighborhood near Chestnut Hill. Nice area. Trees lining the street, well-kept lawns. I parked across the street and just watched the house for a while. It didn't look abandoned. Lights were on. There was a red sedan in the driveway. I finally got out of the car, walked up to the door, and knocked. A guy opened it. He was about my age, maybe late 30s, dressed in jeans and a hoodie. He smiled like he was expecting me. "You must be Sarah's brother," he said. I just stared at him. "I'm her husband," I said flat. His smile vanished. Behind him, I heard her voice. She was laughing. Then she walked into the hallway and saw me standing there. The look on her face. She stopped cold. The color drained from her skin. I'll never forget it. "Mike?" she whispered. The guy looked back and forth between us. "Wait, what the hell is going on? You tell me," I said, still standing in the doorway. Sarah started crying. She told me to come in, said we needed to talk. I walked inside, and what I saw made me feel physically sick. Photos. On the walls. Of them together. Smiling. Holding hands. At the beach. At restaurants. Christmas photos. They were a couple. Like a real couple. Like they had a life together. She sat me down and started talking. Said she didn't plan it this way. That it started out as an escape. That at first, she only visited Philly for work and met him through a mutual friend. But then, one thing led to another, and she started seeing him regularly. Rented the house. Started spending more time there. I asked her where the money came from. She admitted it. Said she'd been pulling small amounts from our savings over time, then stashing extra from freelance work I didn't even know she was doing. She was leading a full second life. David, the other guy, stood there the whole time. Shocked. He looked just as blindsided as I felt. Turns out, she told him she was going through a divorce. Said I was abusive, that we hadn't lived together in years. Lied about everything. He left the house. Didn't say a word to either of us. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I couldn't. I just sat there, trying to understand what the hell my life had become. That's where I'm at now. This just happened last week. I haven't confronted her again yet. She came back to Pittsburgh 2 days ago and acted like nothing happened. She doesn't know I opened the safe. She doesn't know I went to Philly. But I know everything. I don't know what to do next. I'm just numb. I feel like I've been living with a stranger for the past 3 years. A stranger who looked me in the eye every day and told me we were broke. That we couldn't afford anything. That we needed to do better. Meanwhile, she was bankrolling a second life. I don't know what my next move is. But I'll update this when I figure it out. I didn't sleep that night. After getting back from Philly, I parked outside a 24-hour diner near the highway and just sat in my truck. I must have smoked a whole pack of cigarettes without even noticing. My head was spinning. The more I thought about it, the more it didn't make sense. How did she hide this from me for so long? How did I not see it? The next morning, I went home like nothing happened. She was already there. Kitchen smelled like pancakes. Like nothing was wrong. Like she wasn't a whole different person just a few hours away. She smiled when I walked in. Hey babe, breakfast? I stared at her. Yeah, I said, sitting down slowly. Sure. She made small talk. Asked about my friend's car. Told me her mom was doing all right. Not great, but better. I nodded along. Every word she said felt like a slap. When she left for work, I opened the safe again. Took photos of everything inside. The cash. The deed. Even the bank statements tucked in the back. Accounts I didn't know existed. In her name only. One of them had over $70,000. I printed the photos and put them in an envelope. Drove to my buddy Chris's place. Gave them to him. Told him to hold on to it. Just in case. You sure you don't want to go to the cops? He asked. Not yet, I said. But soon. That was when things started to get weirder. About 3 days after my visit to Philly, Sarah came home in a mood. I mean real nervous energy. Her eyes were darting around like she was being followed. Everything okay? I asked. She nodded fast. Yeah, just work stuff. I didn't press. That night, I saw her sneaking into the closet around 2 a.m. I watched from the hallway. She was checking the safe. She must have figured I'd found it. She stood there staring at it, hand on the keypad, but didn't open it. She just stood there, then left. That's when I made my next move. I called David. Got his number from a business card on the fridge at the Philly house. I told him everything. What she was doing. The hidden cash. The second life. That she was still married to me. That she lied to both of us. He was quiet. Dead quiet. Then he said, she told me you were abusive. Said you'd hit her once. That you were a drunk. I laughed bitterly. I haven't touched a drink in over 5 years. My dad was an alcoholic, and I swore I'd never be like that. She's never had a bruise on her in her life, I said. That's not who I am. David asked to meet. We agreed on neutral ground, a diner halfway between Pittsburgh and Philly. We sat there for 2 hours, piecing together the timeline. She told each of us different things. Told me she was working late. Told him she was in Philly for work. Claimed she was paying off old college loans. Claimed she was in therapy. It was all lies. Then David dropped a bombshell. She's pregnant, he said. I blinked. What? She told me last month. Said she was 8 weeks in. I thought it was mine. But now, I couldn't breathe. We did the math. The timing overlapped with nights she came home from visiting her mom. Could be mine. Could be his. Or someone else's. We sat there in silence, the kind that makes your ears ring. When I got home that night, I looked at her and felt nothing. No love. No hate. Just empty. But I didn't say a word. I wanted to see what she'd do next. Turns out, She'd already started moving money. The next day, I checked the safe, half the cash was gone. The bank accounts were getting drained too. She was planning to run. I knew it. But run where? To David? Doubt it. He was just as betrayed. Then it clicked. There was a third name on the property deed. A man named Thomas Riley. I didn't recognize the name. Never heard it before. Looked it up. He lived in Miami. I dug deeper. Turns out Sarah had been flying to Florida every few months for marketing conferences. I found flight confirmation emails in her Gmail. She forgot to delete the trash folder. So now there's a third man. A house in Philly. A bank account I never knew about. A pregnancy we can't trace. And Sarah pretending nothing is wrong. I still haven't confronted her. I'm watching. Waiting. I need to know just how deep this rabbit hole goes. The next twist came from the most unexpected place. My job. About a week after meeting David at the diner, my manager at the garage called me into his office. I thought maybe I'd missed a shift or messed up a repair job, but it was worse. "Mike," he said, "you've got to be careful who's snooping around here." I frowned. "What do you mean?" He leaned back in his chair. "Some guy came by asking questions about you. Didn't give his name. Said he was a PI. Wanted to know where you go after work, who your friends are. If you're involved in anything risky." That word hit me hard. Risky. "What did you tell him?" "Nothing," my manager said. "Told him to get lost. But I thought you should know." My mind raced. A pie? Was Sarah having me followed? Why? I didn't confront her right away. I played it cool, but I started keeping notes. Everywhere I went, everyone I talked to, I logged it. I checked my truck for a tracker. Nothing obvious, but something about all of it felt off. Then, about 3 days later, I checked the safe again. The cash was completely gone. The deed too. Even the bank statements. All wiped out. She must have taken it during her morning jogs. I didn't say anything. I needed her to think I was still in the dark. That night, she told me she was going to visit her mom again. "I'll be back Sunday," she said. "She's having a rough time." I just nodded. Drive safe. But I followed her. I stayed a few cars behind as she headed out of the city. She didn't go toward her mom's place. She went to the airport. I watched from the long-term parking lot as she got on a flight to Miami. That confirmed it. Thomas Riley wasn't just some old business contact. He was part of this. I didn't fly down. I didn't chase her. Instead, I called David. Told him everything. He asked me to meet again. When we did, he had something new for me, a voice recording. He'd installed a mic in their Philly house before he left it, just in case she came back. She did. And she brought Thomas with her. In the recording, she was telling him she'd taken care of the Pittsburgh problem. I felt sick. "That idiot never suspected a thing," she said in the recording, laughing. She told Thomas she was planning to get all 3 men to fund different parts of her life. Said David was easy money, and I was loyal to the bone. Then she joked about me maybe being the father of the baby. "Won't matter," she said. "Whoever's got the biggest wallet can claim it." David and I sat there stunned. We weren't just cheated on, we were played. But here's where it gets worse. David showed me an email he intercepted after she logged into her laptop and forgot to log out. It was sent to a 4th man. Yep, 4th. Name was Eric. He lived in Chicago. She called him baby in the email. Said she was almost done with the Pittsburgh chapter. That she had cleared the path. In that same email, she attached a photo of me. Me. In my work uniform. Standing outside the garage. And there was one line at the bottom that sent chills through my entire body. "He won't be a problem much longer." That's when I knew. This wasn't just cheating. This was a setup. I was a target. But why? Why go through all this? Money? Maybe. But why hire a PI? Why take pictures of me? Why mention me not being a problem much longer? I don't know what the endgame is, but I feel like I've been walking into a trap I didn't even know existed. She's back in Pittsburgh now. Acting normal. Smiling. Cooking dinner. Asking me about my day. But every time she hugs me, every time she kisses me goodnight, I wonder, is this the last time? What happens when she thinks I know too much? I've started locking my bedroom door at night. Bought a small safe of my own. Put a camera in the living room. I even have a burner phone now, in case something happens. Because whatever this is, it's bigger than cheating. And I think it's only getting started. She came home from Miami like nothing happened. Walked in with a tan, a smile, and a carry-on suitcase that looked more expensive than anything we ever owned together. "Mom sends her love," she said, like this was just another day. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. Instead, I just stared at her as she unpacked in the bedroom, humming under her breath like she hadn't built a web of lies in 3 cities and slept with half of them. But I had a plan, and the truth was coming out tonight. I invited David over for dinner. Told Sarah I wanted to clear the air, told her I had something important to share. She agreed too quickly. Maybe she thought I was finally folding, that I'd go down quietly. But I wasn't going down. I was going to burn it all down. David showed up just after 6. I opened the door, and for a second, Sarah's face dropped when she saw him. She didn't expect that, but she recovered quickly, put on a fake smile, waved, even hugged him. "Wow, this is unexpected," she said. "You could say that," I replied. We sat around the dining table like a normal dinner. Me, her, David, and the silence. The kind that tastes like blood in your mouth. Then I pulled out my phone and played the recording. Her voice, loud and clear, laughing. That idiot never suspected a thing. She froze, fork halfway to her mouth. David stared at her, his jaw clenched. Then I brought out the printed emails. I tossed them on the table, pages of sweet nothings sent to Eric in Chicago. The guy she called baby while telling him I'd soon be out of the picture. She didn't deny it. She didn't cry. She laughed. "You two are so dramatic," she said, standing up. "Fine. I lied. But don't act like you were saints." David stood too, hands balled into fists. "You lied about everything. The baby, the house, the money. You used us. You used yourselves," she said, cold as ice. "I just gave you what you wanted to see." "Who's the father?" I asked. That's when she cracked. The smile fell. She looked between us and shook her head. "I don't know," she said quietly. "I don't know whose it is." Then she whispered, almost like to herself, "Maybe none of you." I felt like I got punched in the chest. David sat back down, defeated. His face was pale. We were silent. For a full minute, none of us said a word. Then Sarah picked up her purse and walked to the door. "You two want closure?" "There it is," she said. "You were pawns. That's all." She left. Just like that. Didn't yell. Didn't fight. Just walked out. I didn't chase her. David didn't either. The next day, she was gone. Took some clothes, her laptop, and the rest of the hidden money, I assume. She hasn't called. Didn't leave a note. Just vanished. David went back to Philly. Told me he's selling the house and moving on. "I don't care if it's mine or not," he said. "I want nothing to do with her." I hired a lawyer. Started divorce proceedings immediately. Told them everything. The safe. The lies. Even the voice recordings. They said I had more than enough for full separation, no financial support. But that wasn't what I cared about. I cared about getting my name back. Getting me back. It's been 2 months since that night. Sarah hasn't contacted me. I heard from Chris that she tried to withdraw money from one of the joint accounts, but I'd already frozen it. I still don't know if she's in Miami, Philly, or Chicago. Maybe she's with someone else now. Some new sucker who thinks he's her world. I think about the baby sometimes. If it's real. If it exists. If somewhere out there, a kid's going to grow up with Sarah as a mother, and no clue what kind of chaos she left behind. People around me have started talking. Some blame me. "You really didn't see the signs?" Some just shake their heads. "That's messed up, man. Chris has been a rock through all of it. You didn't deserve any of that," he said. "She's got a hole where her soul should be." I still can't sleep through the night. Some mornings I wake up reaching for her side of the bed. Other days, I feel relief. Peace. I don't miss her. I miss who I thought she was. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Love can be a weapon in the wrong hands. And trust, once shattered, is sharp enough to bleed you dry. But I survived. Barely. I don't know what the future holds. I'm not looking for love anytime soon. I'm just trying to feel whole again. And maybe, just maybe, one day I'll laugh at all this. But today I just feel tired. Still, I'm standing. And for now, that's enough.